Hey, what's going on, you guys? Hey, welcome back to another episode with iTrack. Huge shout out to all the iTrack fam, man, tapping in, and everybody that's in the building, man. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. If this is your first time here, what we like to do is take a look at the most interesting and creepy videos from all across the internet and kind of evaluate for ourselves whether these are fact or fake. So let's not even waste time, man. Let's get right into it.
Okay, I've been contacted, as you know, by an insider at the Pentagon who states that the Anunnaki are returning to Earth. Basically, there's going to be some sort of big UFO spacecraft. Jeremy Corbell has mentioned this. And the Anunnaki, who apparently seeded life on Earth, made as hybrids, made as their workers, mining gold, they're coming back in 2 years' time. It's always 2 years, isn't it? So they're coming back to Earth to take control. But this insider's now told me they're coming back to take the chosen because there's going to be a big geomagnetic event, possibly a pole shift, which happens every 40,000 years. They know it's imminent, so they're coming back to take selected people off the planet and back to wherever they're from. It's absolutely mad. And the fact is, people at the Pentagon seriously believe that this is happening. So does this tie in with the so-called Project Blue Beam? Anyway, this document, I'll release it. This is basically stating what's been happening at the Pentagon with regards to welcoming back the Anunnaki. It's like, wow!
Now, they don't give any kind of landmarks or anything like that, but if anybody knows where that water tunnel's at, what state, country, definitely let me know. It's worth checking out.
All right, guys, we have 2 quartz crystals here, and I'm gonna rub these together. I'm gonna turn off the light, and you're gonna see something. Check this out. And the craziest part was they weren't hot after all that friction. And also, before my grandfather died, he left our family a bunch of these notes on how spirit was coming into him. He was like a medium, teaching him how to use quartz crystal and healing generators to heal the human body of all disease and ailments. And I have these, and I was always kind of like, whoa, that's intriguing, but I don't know. But after seeing this, like, oh shit, like, I think something might be here. And also, supposedly, quartz crystals are an energy source that can give free energy to all of Earth and get us off grid. So, I don't know.
These are fallen angels with a very nefarious agenda. And usually when I'm talking to people, I'll say, is it okay to abduct a 5-year-old boy and stick an implant in them? And usually most people go, no, that's not a good thing. And it's not.
But then they somehow want to write the narrative that these entities are here to help us and stuff. That I know that's wild to me too.
What are we actually going to see in these glasses? Like when we actually are wearing them, what's going to happen?
They're going to be transformative to our lives. Imagine traveling and every single sign that's in another language is immediately translated, or you're speaking to somebody and in real time it's translating for you, or being in a hotel with a coffee maker that you don't know how to use and you look at it and it provides stepwise instructions so that way you can quickly make yourself a cup of coffee. I mean, it's mind-blowing what these AIs can do now.
Okay, so
Now, the traveling and the language decoding is the most appealing part to me because you can travel to any country at that point and not worry about the language barrier or anything like that. That's pretty dope. I'm looking forward to that. But let me know what you think.
Yeah, I don't know what got in the sky. Is that see what I'm saying? Them shit's just like, what the fuck is that? Gang, what? Them shit's is just chilling there.
Hey, did you know that 6,000-year-old reptilian humanoid statues actually exist? Promise you I'm not making this up. I have video proof. Check these out. These are called the Ubaid figurines, and they date to around 4000 to 4500 BC. These are actually on display at the Penn Museum in Philadelphia, and you yourself can go see them right now if you wanted to. Now, of course, modern historians and archaeologists wouldn't say that these are literal lizard people. The argument is that these are abstract depictions of human beings, but they do look kind of like lizard people. Now, what I found interesting in my journey of learning some ancient Sumerian is that apparently some scholars think that there could be an older language before Sumerian that Sumerian borrowed names of deities from. So could these be depictions of gods from before Sumeria? What do you think? Is it just abstract art, or is it ancient reptilian gods? Drop a comment below. I want to hear the theories.
I mean, he should have just came out and said he didn't know what it was for a fact. You know, at the end, we kind of figured out capping, boy.
In order to live in India, you have to be built different. Like this dude who woke up to a king cobra, not only in his bedroom, in his bed with him. But wait till the end, I promise you it's worth it. So as you can see, this king cobra is just laying across his legs in his bed, and he keeps on going back and forth because the snake does not actually realize that there's a human in the bed with him. So he's trying to lay perfectly still to not signal the snake that he's in the room with him. Now, as most of you know, a bite from a king cobra can be very severe. The last thing he wants to do is tip off this snake that he's in this room. And I don't know how this dude remains so calm. Just look at his face. Because this is moments before disaster. But for me, it's really the moment that the snake realizes he's in the same room as this dude and they lock eyes. As he comes over this pillow, he pauses for actually a really long time. And it looks like he's thinking, you've been here this whole entire time? But the second this king cobra does this move, you know it's over for you. This is his defense pose, and when he goes up like that, it's on. We don't really know what happened after that. Rest in peace, my guy.
If only evil people developed these technologies, like if Hitler were first for the atomic bomb, we would probably all be speaking German right now, and it would be a very different reality. If China can cool their quantum computers with helium-3 before we can, the jig is up. Quantum computing would make all secrets null and void, and evil can't hide. So now think about this. China is mining helium-3 on the moon and could supply the energy needs of the human race for thousands of years. We have some helium-3 on Earth, but very little, and that's why it's millions of dollars for just an ounce. But on the moon, you've got enough to fuel the entire human race for thousands of years.
So basically all of the coast of Northern California, Oregon, and Washington will be like the San Fernando Valley and the Northridge earthquake. And we had 10 miles, and this is going to be 700 miles or something like that. So it's going to be a much larger area that is hit by the shaking. The most damaging earthquake I can think about was actually not even on the San Andreas. It would be a magnitude 7.5 under Los Angeles. Because the thing in the West Coast where we have relatively young rocks compared to the East Coast, and they're softer then. It's bad luck if you happen to hit the century that we have the magnitude 9. But those 7s in Los Angeles are more deadly.
Rewrite the textbooks on this one.
Most of them say the universe is about 13 billion years old. What if it's not?
Well, that's the problem. The James Webb Space Telescope is upsetting the apple cart. All of a sudden we realize that we may have to rewrite all the textbooks about the beginning of the universe. Now, it takes many billions of years to create a galaxy, like the Milky Way galaxy, with 100 billion stars, many billions of years old. But the James Webb Telescope has identified 6 that exist 500 million years after the Big Bang, that are up to 10 times bigger than the Milky Way galaxy. That shouldn't happen. There should not be primordial galaxies that are bigger than the Milky Way galaxy that are only 500 million years old. Something is wrong. We may have to revise our theory of the creation of the universe.
To revise our theory of the creation of the universe.
Yeah, you want to hear my hot take on AI?
I would love to.
We were not made in God's image, but we so wanted there to be a God. We made one in our image. It's all-knowing, all-powerful, can perform miracles, lives in a cloud. Sorry, is that God or AI?
Wow. Hey, now that was pretty synonymous. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, the similarities were pretty uncanny. Let me know what you think.
Hey, you're the one who grabbed me, right? Let me tell you something. Stop. You ever put your hands on me again, and that'll be... I'm warning you. You heard me, right? Okay. Stop. You got me? Stop.
Hey, she reads lips very well. And I can tell Denzel wanted to give that guy a 2-piece and a biscuit, man. You can just look at the look on his face.
MK never ended. It just got smarter. In the 1950s, the government used drugs and torture to hijack minds. MK used to wire your brain with trauma. Now AI wires it with dopamine. Your For You page isn't random. It's precision-engineered emotional control. They don't need to control your body when they already have your mind. Today, they don't need chemicals. They have algorithms. Every scroll, every click, every pause feeds a system that knows what breaks you. It doesn't just predict your behavior, it shapes it.
Kris Jenner has a new face.
I don't understand how that's even possible.
So here's what they do. They chop you open right here, like all right here. They chop you open all down here, like behind your ears. They chop your neck and they pull it up and they sew it back into the muscle.
What is the long-term effects of that? Anything?
Yeah, like you lose the elasticity.
Like you'll kind of just always like wide-eye it?
Yeah, and it like makes your lip like, so you're kind of just like this. And you probably laugh like,
Single one of us is a field that is both the observer, the observed, and the actor. And it doesn't exist in, this field does not exist in space and time. Space-time exists within these fields that we are, is us. This changes the paradigm, right? But we need a change of paradigm because otherwise, if we are machines like scientism is telling us, we are going to be taken over by the machines. Artificial intelligence, powerful people will control, and through those machines, they can control us if we don't change our mind of who we are. We'll become a self-fulfilling prophecy because we have not done the personal work to understand who we are. And we are not machines. The body is a machine, but it's a machine that is infinitely more complex than the computers because it is a quantum and classical machine. It's not a machine like a computer.
The Golden Dome is the latest air defense system in the United States, crafted to shield the nation from any missile threats, including those from outer space. This cutting-edge project aims to achieve an interception success rate nearing 100% for all types of missiles, with an investment totaling $175 billion, highlighting its crucial role in safeguarding against future attacks and potential losses.
Say there's certain whistleblowers' names you can't mention. This brings me back to a friend of ours when George was doing his news report on Bob Lazar, first time it was going to air, he just said, when he was up at Area 52, he just said, hey, you should pay attention to the news. His career was over. He got pulled into a room the next day. I would call him a friend of ours. I interviewed him about it. I mean, that was done. He just mentioned to watch George's news report. Again, we're not equating Bob Lazar to anything, but we were just saying that happened. So what do you mean if you mention certain whistleblowers? Who?
David Grush.
You can't mention David Grush in certain professional settings or you are fucked.
Yeah, if you're not fired, you are in for a very rough time, is my understanding.
Elizondo?
You know, I didn't hear Elizondo as a no-go word.
Saying David Grush testified in open Congress, so that makes sense. So, what have you seen it happen? Have you seen people like mention his name? How do you become aware you can't even talk about him?
So that specific example, heard from a friend at that agency, that was essentially the word of mouth from management. Nothing written in paper, nothing in emails. Mm-hmm. But from what it sounds like, people got a conversation with their leadership and were told as much as we've just gone over. And his name was absolutely, in the first-hand experience, sort of radioactive in the chat rooms. It would either, all of a sudden, these people that never participate are there really slamming him and slamming the people talking about him.
On the classified internet.
Indeed.
Our space is one we've talked about, but these where people had open dialogue, it just got to clamp down. And his name was part of that. That's what you meant when you said certain people are radioactive. You can't mention their names.
Right.
Okay.
Clueless.
And good, yeah. We're nuclear. He's radioactive.
Okay.
Different designation.
Yeah. So you're seeing these videos and some limited discussion. You can't really openly talk about it, but you're curious. You're kind of hooked on the topic.
Yeah, and to be clear, 2018, when this first exposure happened, And for about a few years after, it did at least feel more open. Looking back on it, this was probably a counterintelligence prerogative at the time. But it was allowed to exist. The discussion was allowed to exist, and it felt more like, people were excited to finally actually be able to talk about this and finally be able to try to compare notes, figure it out.
Well, it's when the UAP task force was created.
I mean, that kind of makes it way too obvious. If you're trying to quiet people that are speaking certain whistleblowers' names, it's giving a lot of validity to those specific whistleblowers, right? And giving them somewhat credibility. So that's pretty interesting.
In 2004, the U.S. military shut down a program called LifeLog, designed to track your entire life. That same day, Facebook was launched. A coincidence, or was that always the plan?
Have you ever perceived yourself as being, I know you must perceive yourself as being different, but have you ever perceived yourself as being weird in any way?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Look, I understand everything's relative, not weird to me. But,
yeah.
Probably weird as
And you're living in Minneapolis, of all places.
Minneapolis, yeah.
Yeah.
I will always live in Minneapolis.
Do you will always live here?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
It's so cold, it keeps the bad people out.
I believe that. When you go, do you like go to the mall?
Last time I went to the mall, I took about 400 people out with me, so I don't do that much anymore.
You don't do that?
You know what? Prince is pretty smart. That makes a whole lot of sense. Growing up and even now, they talk about how in the summertime the violence increases, all kinds of drama starts. But you never really hear about that in wintertime. So that makes sense to move to a colder place, man. I get it.
So cloning. I can't speak about cloning without speaking about also transference of consciousness. The two go hand in hand. When the nefarious ones began cloning, and they've been doing this for several hundred years, and of course, they've gone from things that are very, very simple to things that are a lot more complex now. But when you have a clone, they are beginning by taking cells from the bloodstream of an individual, and they replicate those cells, and then they amplify it and they feed it energy so that it creates a replica of that person. That is what a clone is. They then work on the consciousness of a person, and the way that they can shift the consciousness, they can do it a couple of different ways. But one of the ways that they prefer to do it is as if they're tapping into a person's consciousness. They're using lasers, they're using different type of, if you envision in your mind someone that is strapped down, and there's some sort of a laser technology or something that's got magnetics in it also, and that literally goes in and connects into the thought process. I also am seeing I've never participated in this. I'm just telling you what I see when I'm looking into it. So it's like they have those things on a person's head that's looking at their brain waves. So that's how they connect in. They go in through the electrical system of the person. It connects into the consciousness, and then they literally transfer that into this robot or this person that was replicated from them. The problem is a clone is never as good as the first person. You cannot move the soul from one clone, from a human person into a clone. So that is one of the reasons why that they were trying to do that for a very long time. And if they had these people that were the nefarious ones from out in the universe, that was truly what was behind what they were doing for a very long time. But it cannot be done. It cannot be done. It is not something that we that are of the light would ever want to do, because not only is it, what's the word we want to use? Unethical. Not only is it unethical, but the clone is never as good as the first person. And that first person, there is a part of them. It's like, you think about it, someone is scraping this energy out of you, stealing this energy and putting it in something else. And there you are, left as a shell.
Yes, cloning is real. They're doing it in many countries. They've been doing it all the way back since Saddam Hussein. So yes, it's a real thing. And they've mastered it to the point where you really don't even know who's who. Back then, it was really bad, but now it's like you couldn't tell. Not that I have any personal experience or anything like that. It's just something you can Google. You know what I mean?
This is a survival tip that might save your life if you ever get stranded in a forest.
When there's a scarcity of food, you can try eating tree bark. But let me clear something up. When I say eating bark, I don't mean gnawing on the outside of a tree trunk. What you should eat is a thin inner layer called the cambium. However, not all trees have edible or tasty cambium. The kind that people usually eat comes from pine trees. The cambium from these trees tends to be sweeter and more palatable.
I once had a cut on my head and they shaved it and there was a 666. Is that significant?
Yeah, because it's not the devil's number.
Oh, what is it?
What
is
they
it
were
a
trying to do, no, they were
it's
chasing.
a 310, I hope.
No, they were chasing you from the truth. Because 666, 6 times 6 times 6 ends up being 216. 216 is the key of C, or key of A. 432, you double that.
Wait. 216 is the what?
666. If you do 6 times 6.
I got that part.
6 times 6 is 36.
I get it. 216.
216.
Is the what?
Is the key of A.
What does that mean, the key of A?
The key of A, the tone of A.
What is
the tone of A?
Tones have number?
Yes, at the frequency of it, 432. It's.
Oh, I see.
432 hertz. Instead of them doing 440.
Yeah, I've seen that 432 hertz.
430. Once the Beatles.
433 kills you.
Well, the Beatles went to. Jimi Hendrix used to spend hours trying to tune his guitar at 432. That's why people be so pissed off at him. It's like, just tune the damn thing regular. No, he needed it at 432. When the Beatles went to India, they tuned their instruments when they got back all to 432 and remastered all of their stuff, because 432 is the common factor of the universal tone. That's the sound of our earth. The sun is 864,000 compared to the earth with its 432. The moon is at 216. All of these numbers tie into astronomical things. So they're important.
Okay. So when the Beatles got back from India, they remastered all their records?
They remastered their records.
They personally went into the studio and did that?
If you go to a site, there's a site called 432 Sacred Music of the Spheres.
Because they don't want anyone to know that it's glitter. These 10 words kicked off one of the biggest internet conspiracies of all time.
Can you tell me what your biggest buyer is?
No, I absolutely know that I can't.
Okay, but you know what it is?
Oh, God, yeah, and you'd never guess it. Let's just leave it at that.
In 2018, a New York Times article went viral when a manager at one of the largest glitter producers in the world refused to admit who their biggest client was. But another thing that really stuck out to people was this comment. Since we're a glitter manufacturer, anything we do is now called glitter. This is important because glitter was invented/discovered in the 1930s at a precision cutting factory of film and paper for clients like Kodak and Enesco. The cutting machine would occasionally glitch, tearing up the glossy photo print into schnibbles that were spat out onto the shop floor. Instead of throwing them out, some of the employees decided to use the schnibbles as fake snow in their Christmas decorations, and glitter was born. But today, whoever is buying up all of the glitter is still a mystery, with some theories suggesting that it's the US military, boat paint, funeral homes, or toothpaste manufacturers.
Scientists developed a brain-computer interface so small that it could be placed between hair follicles, making it much less bulky than earlier devices. Created by engineers at the Georgia Institute of Technology and collaborators in South Korea, the new sensor uses a cross-shaped resin with tiny spikes that lightly pierce the scalp to pick up brain signals. These signals are carried by a flexible wire through the hair to a microprocessor, which sends the information wirelessly to other devices. The system was tested by controlling a computer phone application and by sending signals to glasses connected to a smartphone. Tests showed the device was about 96.4% accurate and stayed in place for up to 12 hours. It was also designed for mass production, raising hopes that it could someday be widely available for millions of disabled users who need better ways to control devices through thought. The small size and wireless design of this brain-computer interface could open up many future applications beyond helping disabled users control phones or computers. Because it can be placed easily between hair follicles without surgery and stay in place for long periods, it could be used for continuous brain monitoring in hospitals, early detection of neurological disorders, or even everyday tasks like controlling smart home devices. Its lightweight structure and potential for mass production also mean it could one day be adapted for virtual reality, gaming, or wearable health technologies, making brainwave communication a normal part of daily life.
That's a hard pass for me, but for all the paraplegic people out there and the people that aren't able to communicate regularly, yeah, that'll be a game changer for a fact.
Florida man finds out he had tapeworms in his brain. The way that he got it is horrifying. And another guy found out he got his tapeworms cancer. We'll talk about it. A lot of people get tapeworms from eating things like undercooked bacon. In fact, this guy did too. But in order to get it in your brain, you have to get it a second time. You see, you are not the final host for a tapeworm. They will infect things like pork, and then it will travel through their bloodstream and nest into their muscles, waiting for something like a human to eat them. But they will end up in your digestive system and they shouldn't travel to your brain. It's likely that this guy ended up excreting the tapeworms, did not wash his hands when using the restroom, ingested them again, and if they are in that form, they can then travel through your body. If you are very unlucky, it can get into your brain. Usually, the immune system prevents this. And yes, the guy who got a tapeworm in his brain was okay. This patient was absolutely not okay. These things can happen if you have a poor immune system. They should never end up in strange places. However, one man had a severely weakened immune system, and he ended up getting cancer that his tapeworm had first. Those cells traveled through his body and ended up forming tumors. These kinds of events are not as common as they are in other countries that don't have as good a sanitation system and an FDA. You are almost never going to come in contact with bacon on the grocery store shelf that has tapeworms in it. And you can prevent the possibility entirely by cooking your meat.
The Ark of the Covenant was discovered, and they didn't want you to know.
The fourth time I came in, there were 4 young men standing in there. One of them said, "We're the angels that have been assigned to the Ark of the Covenant."
In 1982, a man named Ron Wyatt claimed to have discovered the Ark of the Covenant, buried in a cave 20 feet beneath the place where Jesus was crucified. Wyatt said that during the crucifixion, an earthquake split the rock beneath Jesus' cross, causing his blood to run down through the crack and land on the mercy seat of the Ark. He claimed to have taken a sample of the blood, which was later allegedly analyzed in an Israeli laboratory. But this is where it gets scary. Wyatt claimed that the laboratory found the blood to be unique, containing only 24 chromosomes instead of the usual 46, which he believed was proof of a virgin birth. He also said that when he tested the blood, he was shocked to see that it was still alive under the microscope. A declassified CIA document claims the Ark of the Covenant was located using remote viewing, a method where individuals use extrasensory perception to see distant places. The report states the Ark is real, protected by unknown forces.
But God has this on his timetable, and it will be done at the perfect time.
Comment video if you want me to share leaked footage of the Ark of the Covenant.
What are they feeding their entrepreneurs in Sweden? Because they keep inventing mind-blowing shit. This is called the Neko, which is actually invented by the founder of Spotify, and this is going absolutely ballistic. This product has 100,000 people on the wait list in live locations already. And it's a health chamber which you stand in that scans you for about 15 minutes and gives you thermal imaging of your entire body. Now that's your brain, your heart, your moles, cardiovascular health, anything you think of, this thing picks up. And once it builds your thermal map, it'll feed that data to artificial intelligence, which spits out a comprehensive report about your health, and then you sit with one of the doctors at their facilities to go over it. This machine, people have claimed, has saved their lives, and a lot of people have said that it's picked up things like early melanoma and other signs that they were never even aware of. And these guys raised another $300 million just a couple of weeks ago, so make no mistake that this is going to keep building, and we will see this in most major cities soon.
Look at the ingenuity of Indonesian farmers for poultry farming. These people build chicken coops over ponds so that the chickens stay cool near the water. And when the chickens poop, it falls directly into the pond, providing food for the fish. And when the fish grow big, the farmers catch them and sell them in the market, meaning one stone, two birds, poultry farming and fish farming both.
Asked me what would be the effect of knowing the deepest, darkest secrets on somebody, let's say in the NSA, who has that level of clearance. Somebody inside Lockheed who has that level of clearance, right? Even IBM. IBM's done a lot of dark shit. IBM made the punch card computer equipment that allowed the Nazis to process Jews through the concentration camps.
Yep.
Yeah. So
music came from the demonic realm. Okay?
Music came from the demonic.
The devil was one of the chief culprits of that.
What?
Satan himself. And you mentioned, see, even Muslims use the word Satan. It comes from the word shaitan.
All right, we're going to come back to Aleister Crowley. What do you mean the devil created music? I love music.
He brought music on the earth.
But it's a beautiful thing.
It doesn't mean it's all bad either, but I got to explain to you. So this is what I was trying to get to an hour ago, and we keep going off tangents. I hope the audience can keep up. And
I hope they can too,
I hope
but
they don't.
You're like a freight train, bro. Gotta let you roll.
There's so many moving pieces to this.
I know.
It's a very broad topic with a lot of very important things.
Yep.
To kind of gather it all back in. When God created Adam, before he even created him, the devil, Satan as he's known, the enemy of humanity, okay? This species lived on Earth long before humanity, okay? Before the first human being ever existed, before ancient Sumeria, before any of this stuff, Billy, Carson, God had other creations on this earth. But now what's interesting to me is that from the Abrahamic perspective, it's like, why was it always the earth being used as like this kind of like testing ground? There's so many other planets, right? Why, for some reason, he created that species? They were on here before us, long before us. The demonic realm. Now remember, English does not serve the description of what these beings are. It doesn't translate well into English. Because we think demon, they're only evil. That's it. Christianity tries to make up for describing them by saying, no, they're not all evil, they're fallen angels. But that's inaccurate. And I'll tell you why I think it's inaccurate.
They got her. They got her. You know, I feel like I'm playing Pokemon Go at this point. Gotta catch 'em all. Today we're going to be talking about hands and how the F. These are the hands of Khloe Kardashian in 2008. Her hands today, like, how? What is going on here? The media is obsessed with gems and jewelry, so lucky for me, I was able to find several pictures of Khloe Kardashian's hands prior to 2025. And I just find this absolutely wild, but she's not the only one. I also noticed that Hailey Bieber's fingers have changed as well. This is what she and her hands looked like all those years ago. And today, that's crazy to me. It's like all of their hands even have before and afters. Just like Cynthia Erivo. Watch her hands right here. I have never seen someone's hands that long. These hands are otherworldly. Cynthia before, look at her hands. Completely normal sized fingers like you or I. And today, how? And this goes for many celebrities like Angelina Jolie, whose arms and hands never looked like that. Even in the days where her and Bailey Bob Thornton were wearing matching necklaces that were filled with, never mind. I find it interesting that even their arms and hands have before and afters. What do you guys think causes that? Let me know what you guys think in the comments section, because I find this very interesting.
We went to Iraq because we wanted to plunder some kind of artifacts they were looking for from other civilizations that came to Earth and started the whole program. And one of the officers said that this is our fourth civilization on Earth that has been this far or even further along than we are. The aliens that are under the mesa, they are there and they have been there long before us, I was told. Long before us. We worked with them under some kind of a treaty. Supposedly one of our presidents made a treaty and that they agreed to give people to them. We're no threat to them at all. The only thing that we're threatening is ruining the planet. But we're not a threat. And they don't want to eliminate us, but this is the fourth time. Supposedly they had this experimentalist society of a crossbreed, and we're number 4. Supposedly technology before us was way further advanced than what we are now, but it's eliminated. We can't even find it because it's eliminated. They eliminated. Supposedly they eliminated society before this one.
I don't know who I caught, but somebody's caught. Why is that flag in reverse, but these letters and numbers are not? Now they want to show us ring cam footage of what looked like a double explosion from a spot on the yard that's not even attached to the house. Where is this camera located? Also, military housing neighborhoods generally do not have ring cameras. Now this is a small plane, but I think there would be at least something left over from the crash for us to see. Did you happen to notice what the number was on this plane too? N666DS. I don't know, it's strange because someone on that plane was from the devil. Strange too how 6 people were allegedly on board. The numbers on the plane next to it are oddly similar too if you just flipped 2 of them. Now I want you to look at something impossible. Why is that flag in reverse? I want someone to tell me if that's possible. It's just strange because my flag didn't turn around. Another coincidence is that they stopped in Wichita, Kansas before going to San Diego. Mid-air collision back in January, yeah, that plane also was coming from Wichita, Kansas. These pieces that they're claiming to be parts of the plane should be burnt up if the entire road was on fire. This is what the road looked like. This guy, Dave Shapiro, was a very talented pilot. He didn't just fly planes, he did stunts, tricks. He's not flying into a neighborhood.
The thing I think the world is not ready for, like people have maybe abstractly thought like, okay, it's going to be a better programmer than me, it's going to be, better at customer support and whatever. I don't think the world has really had the humanoid robots moment yet. And I don't think that's very far away from like a visceral, like, oh man, this is going to do a lot of things that people used to do. So yeah, it's coming, and we have always tried to just be super honest about what we think the impact may be, realizing that we'll be wrong on a lot of details.
What happens when the humanoid robots get here?
They'll obviously do a lot of jobs, but the point I was trying to make is I think like the first day you're like walking down the street and there's like 7 robots that walk past you doing things or whatever, it's gonna feel very sci-fi.
I don't know about you, but every time I see him in an interview, he looks unsure, he looks worried. It doesn't look very, it's kind of concerning. Let me know what you think though.
What if I told you that there was a breathing technique that can create a bodily experience similar to psychedelics, where there's no substances required and you just use your lungs? So here's the science behind breathwork and how it can trigger mystical states while healing your body. A recent groundbreaking study published in Nature shows that circular breathwork can trigger altered states of consciousness that rivals psilocybin and MDMA. Researchers measured something called end-tidal carbon dioxide, which is the air that you breathe out, and they found that during deep breath work, these levels plummeted. So the lower your CO2 levels drop, the deeper your altered states of consciousness became. And we're talking about experiences like ego dissolution, mystical insights, a feeling of unity, and vivid visuals, all without any substances. So this happens because when you hyperventilate in a circular rhythm, your blood becomes more alkaline, your brain flow shifts, and your neocortex begins to quiet down just like it does under psychedelics. And the study showed that this is connected to less inflammation, less depression symptoms, and improved nervous system regulation. Key takeaway here is that we're probably taking for granted the mere act of breathing and how powerful it can be to transform our health.
Google is officially coming for Hollywood with the announcement of Veo 3. Veo 3 is Google's most advanced AI video generator. It can produce high-definition video with dialogue, sound effects, and even background noise. Everyone is calling it a potential disruptor for film and television. And that's because it dramatically lowers the barrier of creating professional video content. Features include HD video generation, automated dialogue and voice synthesis, scene and style customization, as well as realistic soundscapes. Usually these capabilities would require entire production teams and massive budgets. With Veo 3, much of this process can now be automated, raising questions about jobs in film, animation, and post-production. But not all filmmakers are intimidated by this. Some are actually choosing to embrace it. This is filmmaker Darren Aronofsky. He's already experimenting with Veo 3 to blend live action and AI-generated visuals. He's in a strategic partnership with Google DeepMind. This collaboration is designed to push the boundaries of AI in filmmaking by giving filmmakers early access to Veo 3 and Flow, which are Google's latest video and editing tools. Are AI tools like Veo 3 truly the future of filmmaking, or is it just the latest tech trend? Only time will tell, but for now, Hollywood is certainly watching closely. My name is Ryder Harris, and I travel the country doing AI workshops for businesses and associations. Follow me for more AI news and use cases.
Hey, that's really the key with all this AI stuff, right? You got to make it work for you. It's no use complaining about it. It's here. It's not going to stop. And we're in that window of time right now where you can actually use it to make it work for you, because there will be a point where it's just going to be like everybody's doing it. So yeah, that's interesting.
Y'all remember that witch that came out and straight up said Beyonce was a witch?
Oh, okay. I didn't know, because they tell me Beyonce's a witch and shit like that.
Oh,
that
she
we
is.
should be scared. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, she's an Ifa. So when she wears her yellow, that's Oshun.
Well, she came back and had a little more to say about Beyonce. But stick around to the end of the video, because what I'm gonna show you is gonna really blow your mind.
Your visual that she did.
Yellow, she did Oshun. Riches and beauty and love, all those things, yes.
And she put it in a video.
Yeah.
Was she supposed to film that?
No, that's fine. First of all, Oshun loves that. Like, you have to have parties for her. You have to be beautiful in her day, like how she had that dress and that. It's like a tiara, but it was huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. She loves those things. She loves everything pretty and girly and riches. So Beyonce.
What is it? I hear so much about it. What is it though?
She's crowned Oshun, and so Oshun signifies everything that I just noted. fruit. So basically she has these parties and gives her offerings and things like that for her blessing.
Is that what the fruit is?
Yeah, that's what the fruit is.
So Beyonce's a witch.
Well, a lot of people are witches and don't know it.
I'm looking at the camera like, y'all hear this? Like,
yeah, and I actually want to talk about that because there were so many people that made videos of our last interview and they like twisted my words and said that I said that Beyonce was into devil worship or that she was a demon. And I don't even think I said the word demon.
remember you saying
I
that.
did not. Like, oh, she said she's crowned Oshun. I'm like, Oshun is a beautiful deity. Beyonce is amazing. Her energy is really high too. It's just that people don't understand orishas. They don't understand root work. They don't understand witchcraft. So what do? They make it devil worship and demonize it. You know what I mean? There's nothing devil worship about what Beyonce does, at least with the orishas. With what she's doing with when she dresses like that and you know she gives offerings and things like that. That is beautiful, actually.
Like, I guess when she goes to do offerings, she's doing offerings. Is it a love offering or is it a conjuring offering? Like, does she do her own? So she's a priestess like you, is what you're saying?
She could be. I don't know if she's initiated. But I'm saying she's been crowned. You could be crowned and not be initiated, as far as a priestess. You could be crowned. That tells you you're in like their coven or their house or whatever. But that doesn't mean that you're a priestess. Like, you can't crown someone else. Like, there's levels to it.
So she's talking about the first time where she mentioned Beyonce being a witch and how we all talked about how it was demonic. But she's saying, she never said it was demonic. However, she doesn't understand that anything outside of a source of the true living God is demonic. That's why we said it's demonic. To her, of course, it's not going to be demonic. She's in the midst of it. She's coming to agreement with those demonic spirits. But to us, looking from a perspective of truth, yes, we absolutely know it's demonic because it's not from the source of the true living God. Beyonce is giving an altar and sacrifices and fruit and food to an Orisha, which is a deity named Oshun, which means Beyonce is from the Ifa religion, where the creator is not Yahweh, but Oludumare, where the mediator between man and the divine is not Christ Jesus, but Ashu. You see how there's a difference there? But here's what I wanted to show you guys for those who made it to the end of this video. And this is about to shock you. Beyonce Knowles has an alter ego. Yes, you guessed it right. Her alter ego's name is Sasha Fierce.
Sasha is my alter ego. When they meet me and they speak with me, they're expecting Sasha. I'm more reserved and nothing like Sasha.
There you have her speaking of herself as if it's a different person. But here's what you guys probably never knew or never expected. There's a book. Boy, oh boy. There's a book called Book of Shadows, ladies and gentlemen. Wiccan Spells. And you know who wrote the book? Take a close look at the name. Sasha Fierce. And look what the book is about, guys. Spells, pagan spells, black and white magic spells. And the author's name is Sasha Fierce. Listen to me. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me. Now, we've been back and forth on this situation for a good 2-3 years now, okay? We've shown different things, even from the place of her drummer of 5 years, Kimberly Thompson, filing a restraining order on her for extreme witchcraft. Now we've come to a point in a place where we've seen a whole book written by an author named Sasha Fierce. And the book is about black magic. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. Magic spells, black magic, pagan worship. And the author's name is Sasha Fierce. Oh, how God will show us something right in front of our face. He will show us something, especially those who just want to stay blind. He will show you something and continue to show you and continue to show you and continue to show you. Until the point where it's just right in front of your face. And at this point, you got a choice whether you want to believe God or you want to continue to stay in your blindness and believe what the Lord has showed you and been trying to show you this whole time. You're coming into agreement with the witch if you listen to her music. I've spoken about this many times and plenty of times. It's not a joke. It's not a game. When you listen to a witch's music, you are allowing different spirits to come into your household. Not only your physical house, but your temple right here. And if it's coming in you and people are in your physical household, then you're bringing spirits in there too. So you're not just destroying your temple, it's affecting your whole family. Come out of the demonic agreement, my brothers and sisters. I don't care how much you like Beyonce's music. Come out. May the Lord continue to bring light. And if you just want to stay blind, may God have mercy on your soul. God bless.
Hey, you know what? He brought more receipts than opinions, and I like that. The facts are something that you can't dispute. So you got to make your own decision up. It's an evil world we live in. Where you guys, hey, that's another one in the books, man. I appreciate you guys for stopping by yet again and watching another one with me. If you haven't already, go and smash that like button for me. Smash that subscribe button and join the iTrack fam, man. And I will definitely catch you on the next one.